Hey, beautiful mama. I am so excited to have you here. My name is Charlie Brown, and I'll talk a little bit more about me and my story later. But for now, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about Nurture Her, because this is something that I created for and about you. This is an online prenatal yoga and wellness program, although I like to say it's a retreat because it's so delicious. And it's really an invitation to connect, nurture, nourish, empower, inspire, and support the birth of you. Not your baby, the birth of you, the mother. Our culture has a real habit of putting all of our focus on the birth and putting all of our focus on the baby. I wanted to do something that really just kind of held you as you navigated your way through this really hormonally, emotional, beautiful, but often challenging time and season of your life. Because it really does take a village. It really does take a village to raise a child and care for a mother. When you birth a child, you also birth a mum. And this is a part of you that you've never been before. And with each child, whether this is your first or your 10th baby, it unearths new layers and new depths of ourselves. And the mother is just as vulnerable as the newborn baby. And so I really wanted to create something that honored you, that cared about you. And so ultimately, the mission with every single thing that I do and every single thing that I create is to nurture, nourish, empower, inspire, and support mothers as they navigate motherhood in a way that really honors the mother that they are, the season that they're in, and the woman that they are becoming. Because I do believe that together we can change the way that we view and experience motherhood in a modern world, not only for ourselves, but for future generations to come. But it has to begin with us. We have to be the ones to really advocate for ourselves so that we are not just another burnt out mama. Because I promise you, that is not what you're here for at all. So let me talk a little bit about Nurture Her. This is about nurturing newborn mothers. So as I said before, it is a yoga and prenatal wellness program. It is simple, it is safe, it is supportive, and it's a program that will guide you through pregnancy, birth, and beyond. And it's just an invitation really to slow down, to rest, repair, and replenish those so that you can receive the experience that you want to, or as much as possible. And so ultimately the Nurture Her framework is this. Within this program, there are 6 prenatal yoga classes, all have a particular theme or intention. There are 7 guided meditations. Again, each theme and meditation is linked to your yoga practice, plus there is one bonus postpartum relaxation meditation for those that can't nap when baby naps, or maybe you're not a day napper. This is a gentle encouragement, if you will, to really still rest, replenish, and restore. And so this is a guided postpartum meditation. There is a 70+ page workbook, and that sounds a little hard when I say workbook, but it's a journal. It's your companion. It's a way for you to reflect upon this time in this season of your life through our intentions. It also has so much information in there that I think is simplified in a way that explains what this transition is, how it feels in your body, how it feels mentally, emotionally, and the ways in which you can really support yourself, especially in the postpartum phase of this journey. There is also a mini essential oil guide recommendation that really helps to support the emotional wellness throughout this journey. There's a beautiful playlist that is linked to each of the yoga sequences and themes, and there is also an ebook which really talks about matrescence. This is your first real introduction to matrescence. What is matrescence? So matrescence is basically the forgotten transformational transition. It is an untold not only story, but reality as to what women go through when they transition from womanhood to motherhood. And so within that, it talks all about the ways in which motherhood can change you so that you feel prepared on the other side. You know ahead of time what awaits you when you enter into motherhood. And so the main key themes and intentions that we really focus on throughout this program is connection to yourself, to your body, to your baby, to what this season of your life really looks like and feels like, but also what you would like it to be and how you would like it to unravel and unfold. Nurture Her is all about you. It's about slowing down, resting, replenishing. It's also about, redirecting some of that mother love, that mothering energy back towards yourself. It's a little bit of healing, that inner child work involved, so that you can really move forward feeling ready, feeling grounded. Empower Her is about letting go. This is about letting go of the woulds and the coulds and the shoulds and everybody else's opinions and expectations. And this is about you really beginning to think about what it is that you want, so that you can feel empowered regardless of the decisions that you make or the outcome that we experience. And I just want to touch on that a moment, because there's so many kind of extreme right and extreme lefts happening here. So for example, if we feel completely disempowered in the hospital system, where we don't know that we can ask questions and we can dig deeper and we can, really create a home-like environment that's nurturing and nourishing within the hospital. If we don't know that, then it's not very empowering. If you don't know the sorts of conversations that you might want to have with your midwives or your doctors or whatever that may be, it can feel disempowering. It can also feel disempowering over on the other side, where it's the radical free birth, home birth, which I'm a huge advocate for. I think there's a lot of negative language in our culture around birth, failure to conceive, failure to progress, failure to latch. This is about empowering you to find which side not even which side, but where you fall within that spectrum. So that you feel empowered. Does it feel more empowering for you to have a scheduled cesarean because maybe you had a traumatic birth before and you're feeling really anxious? Do you want to have a VBAC because you're feeling really empowered and you really trust your body and you're really connected and you're on a different journey? Do you want to birth in the hospital? Do you want to, birth at home? This is basically just an invitation for you to start thinking about what do you want this experience to be like for you? No one else. No one else's noise. No one else's expectations or opinions. Put all the books down and just start to really have these conversations with yourself and with your partner. Gather is all about building your village of support. This is getting your people around you, gathering your community so that you feel as supported throughout pregnancy, but also through birth, and it definitely into your postpartum phase and stage. And I talk a lot about postpartum in this program because we put all of our attention on the birth and all of our attention on the baby. And very rarely in our culture do we look up at the mother and ask, okay, so how are you? What do you need? How do you feel? I mean, you've just birthed, you've just created, birthed, and now are sustaining human life. And the only way to this planet is through you. And yet we don't acknowledge that. We're just going to bypass that? No, that's not what we do here. We really focus on the postpartum in this program. And then we also talk about trust. And this is about really starting to trust in your body, trust in your thoughts and your feelings, trust in yourself. Trust in the decisions and the choices that you make, because when you do that, then you feel empowered. And just to give you a heads up, I wanted a home birth with my first. I had the most incredible, beautiful laboring experience. We danced to our wedding song. We watched our wedding video. I wrote affirmations. He said those affirmations back to me. It was beautiful. I labored for 40 hours. It was incredible. But everything stopped for me. My body went, 40 hours, mate, I am out. And so I ended up having a cesarean. And I didn't feel disempowered. I felt empowered because I also knew how I wanted my cesarean to look. And I had that conversation ahead of time. If it gets to this is how I want it to look. This is how we're going to navigate this. And so it was still empowering. It was still beautiful. And then with my second, I was actually in a really different space. I was very anxious throughout that pregnancy. And so the most empowering thing for me, I was really trying to go for a VBAC birth, really wanted a VBAC, really wanted to have the same but like laboring experience that I had before. Baby had a different plan. I didn't go into labor at all at 43 weeks. And again, cesarean. My third baby was an elective cesarean, and it was the most empowering, beautiful elective cesarean I think that I've had out of, I guess, the other two, not quite elective, but this was a choice. This is a choice because I chose in that moment to empower myself and focus purely on the postpartum. And so that's what I did. And so we can all have different experiences. We can all have different ideals as to how we want this time to go and to be and to look and to feel. But ultimately what is the most important is that you feel empowered along the way. And so the trust element is about really trusting that. And then we dive into the birth and beyond. And I don't really talk an awful lot about the birth because, as I say, there's so many variables. I'm focusing on how you feel about the journey, the process, the transition. And so we talk a little bit about birth. We talk about getting into different shapes and positions and the way that your partner can help you get you into better positions that, you know, will really support the birth that you might be looking for. And then we dive into the postpartum care as well. And so some of the benefits of entering into a prenatal only specific program are things like it calms the nervous system, it reduces stress, it relieves muscular and stored emotional and physical tension in the body, it can help you create physical and emotional balance and well-being, it gives you the opportunity to connect to your changing body, it helps you to connect to your baby, it increases stamina and strength, prepares your body for labor, birth, and body for during pregnancy, birth, and beyond. It connects you with the woman. It helps you to connect with other women at a similar stage of your life. It improves circulation, promotes relaxation, better sleep, and so much more. There are many benefits to entering into a prenatal specific program. And so why did I create this course and why now? You know, ultimately our culture does not acknowledge, nor does it understand or support what it means to carry birth and sustain human life in comparison to other cultures that really do. And so you know what, a lot of women in our culture feel like they lose control. They feel like they lose control of their pregnancy, of their birth, and their postpartum experience. And actually, funnily enough, a lot of women that embark on this sort of program, whether it's online or whether they work with me at my yoga studio, they do so vowing to do it differently. Like, I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm going to create more time for myself. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to rest. I'm going to replenish. And so I thought I'm going to create an online course to hopefully capture those mothers, support those mothers, help those mothers, but also the ones that are entering into this journey for the very first time. Because if we can catch you before you fall, then it's going to be such a more nourishing, wholesome journey for you to experience. And then I think, look, for me, especially with COVID, there's been so much of the disempowerment, you know, so many of women's experiences and choices were taking away from them. But even aside from COVID, the language within this space is one of fear and is one of less than, you know, when we talk about failure to progress, failure to latch, failure to conceive, it's all kind of insinuating that we have failed as the mother, that we or our body has failed. And that is just absolutely bullshit. So I just wanted to create something that was a little bit more positive, to be honest with you. You know, women have felt more isolated and more alone than ever. And I wanted to create something whereby you felt less alone. I wanted to encourage positive habits now because it is so much harder to create positive, healthy habits that help you thrive in motherhood when you get to the other side. And so I also wanted to plant the seed for what's to come. Yeah, because we don't talk about this enough. Mothers don't talk about this enough as to some of the challenges that you might face on the other side. as you transition into motherhood. And so I really wanted to open up the conversation as well, and invite you to let go of everyone else's opinions and expectations. And, you know, something you'll hear me say in this program is just because you can doesn't mean you should. Yeah. You'll also hear me say that just because someone has a title does not mean that they are entitled. And what that means is just because someone has the title or the label of your mom, your aunt, your mother-in-law, your sister, your friend, doesn't mean that they get to impose on you their thoughts, their beliefs, and their expectations. Yeah. This is where you get to set your boundaries and really, you know, chat with your partner or your support people and figure out how you want this to look for you. Okay. So that's a little bit more about the program. I hope that answers some of your questions. My name is Charlie Brown. As I said, I'm, you know, first and foremost, I'm a human. I'm failing and succeeding in equal measure almost all of the time as I navigate motherhood. I'm a motherhood and life coach and a yoga teacher, writer, women's circles facilitator. And honestly, I just don't subscribe to the bullshit narrative anymore that to be a good woman, to be a good wife, to be a good mother, you have to give all of yourself to everyone all of the time. And you most certainly do not have to give this time, this experience away to other people. I want you to redefine and reclaim and rewrite what this is and what this means and what this looks like for you. So yeah, I hope that gives you a little bit more insight. And look, everything I create, I want it to create in a way that feels most aligned to me. And the way that feels most aligned to me is to make things as affordable and as accessible as possible. I want it to literally feel like, well, that just makes total sense. Why would I not invest in myself when I, you know, especially at this time in our life, why would I not make this investment? And so even though I've been told to raise my prices a million times, I just, you know what, I choose not to. And it's not because I don't value myself. It's not because I don't value the work that I do. It's not that I don't value this program or this course or this information. It's because I value you more. And it's because I value it getting into the hands of as many people as possible, as many mothers as possible. And so that's why at the end of this webinar, if you would like to dive on in, make this investment, it is only $88. $88. You get yoga, you get meditation, you get journaling, you get a playlist, you get some essential oil guides with the opportunity, if you want to purchase essential oils at a wholesale price. And you get the opportunity to then, if you would like to, progress into Gather. Gather is a beautiful online community of mothers of all stages, phases of their mothering journey. So they may be entering motherhood for the first time. There might be a seasoned pro and be entering into motherhood for the 10th time. This is also women that may not have gone through Nurture Her, but are doing my other programs. This is an opportunity to mentor each other, mothers mentoring each other, you know, working together the way it should always have been. And again, within this is weekly circles, weekly gatherings, weekly conversations. This is, you know, guest expert masterclasses. This is where we are going to do more journaling. This is where we're going to have more conversations. And I'm going to be adding in sort of postpartum yoga and meditation as well. So there's a couple of opportunities there that really will help you to rise and thrive through pregnancy, birth, and beyond. And I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to connect with you. I can't wait to help you. And I'm just going to leave you with this because this is super important. It's something that I think just landed for me so hard, especially with my second baby. You know, because of my first, I actually got really unwell with my first baby, that I ended up being practically bedridden for 2 years. And partly the reason for that was because I, at the time, did not honor the postpartum period, because no one tells you, right? Everyone just said your life goes on like normal. Now you just have a baby. So there I was 5 days post Caesar with a 5-day-old baby. I ended up getting an infection. I ended up getting very sick. And so the reason why I'm leaving this here is because I don't want any mother to go through that either. The first 40 days postpartum are nature's invitation for you to slow down. Each and every day in this period represents 1 year of a mother's life. How she rests and how she recovers influences her long-term health and well-being. And that is potentially 40 years per child. right? That's 1 year to 1 day postpartum. That's how important your postpartum care plan needs to be. It is so, so, so important. And I only say this because I want you to thrive through motherhood. And yet most mothers are already so severely depleted before we even become pregnant, because we're already trying to please everybody. We're already trying to be the good girl and trying to, be all things to all people all of the time, that you're already so depleted. And so really do take this time to care for yourself, to rest, repair, replenish, to nurture and to nourish yourself fully. I can't wait to connect with you. I hope that you found this useful. I hope it gives you a little bit more information. And yeah, I'll see you, beautiful mama, very soon. Bye.